One of the big stories we are tracking in the market today is the massive sell-off in copper after U.S. President Donald Trump said the U.S. would impose a 50% tariff on copper products, but not on the raw material itself, meaning that some 250,000 tons of copper sitting in U.S. warehouses could be re-exported to international markets. Now, you'll remember that traders spent months directing flows of copper to the U.S. in an effort to front-load that potential levy, squeezing inventories in the rest of the world, and that drove up prices. Now we have to see a bit of a reality check in the market, but also countries that are suppliers of copper are also watching closely, and that includes Canada. And there's been some suggestion that that's an encouraging development for the president's last-minute change in thinking here. Michael Dobner is with PwC Canada and joins us now to talk more about the Canadian side of this. Michael, what has been the reaction among Canadian players?
The reaction among Canadian players, it's a little bit hard for me to gauge at this point because I've not been in touch with those companies. But what I can say is that Canadian exports to the U.S. are by and large raw copper and refined copper. And therefore, this is, in a way, good news for Canada because it doesn't export much of the semi-finished copper product.
And, you know, I think some people were trying to figure out why we even had this last-minute change from President Trump. It looks like there were a lot of people in the industry in the United States who were just trying to explain the ramifications if Plan A had gone ahead. What had you been hearing?
My assessment of the situation is that the U.S., from a strategic standpoint, is looking to develop its copper processing industry, which is very limited currently. Raw copper and refined copper is not a big issue for the U.S. or for Canada. The big issue is that most of the processing is done in China. And if you want to decouple from China, you have to build capacity in the US or North America. That's a long road, but that's what this tariff is trying to target.
Obviously, the U.S. relies on imports for a huge portion of its copper, and I think the concerns, there were national security concerns with China as well, but Canada was getting caught up in the mix of that. What do you think this means for anybody who's also watching the trade uncertainty? We're down to the wire here if we're living by the belief that this August 1st deadline comes and goes and then leads to more tariffs. How does this factor into that broader story, in your opinion?
I think it's part of the same story. And if I wanted to kind of summarize it very succinctly, I would say that from a Canadian standpoint, there are two key issues or two key roads. One is to either accept a bad deal or accept no deal and live with that and go the long way, and I would say also uncertain way of trying to diversify into other markets away from the U.S., or it goes into an arrangement with the U.S. that could reduce tariff, exempt Canada from tariffs, but the price would be a de facto economic union where Canada completely aligns itself with the U.S. and creates what I would call, for lack of better terminology, a fortress North America.